I think women or any young person that wants to be in leadership, I would suggest that they remember that they get out of an experience what they put into it. So if you have an internship, if you have a new job, to learn what you're supposed to do. And if you're able to say, what next? What else can I do? What else can I learn? And to find the leaders in the organization where you can say, this is what I'm learning. What else do I need to know to be better, to be stronger? Where else could I grow in this industry or as a professional? I think learning from other leaders that you respect or that you see are effective, you can learn a lot from them and never be afraid of asking, hey, can I watch you do this? Or can you show me how I could do this better? I've learned a great deal from other leaders in my career, and I think people in leadership roles have a responsibility to help others. And they usually like to do it too.
Believe in yourself. It is hard work, but with hard work, there's always reward. And it's probably, there's a saying in the Bible, eyes cannot see, ears cannot hear what can be, what's possible. So whatever you think is possible. I mean, when I started Operation Excel, like I said, it was me and 22 kids. Today I have 8 sites. I serve 500 kids. I wasn't thinking that was the possibility. Yeah. So I had $25,000, now budget is like $1.5 million. Sky is the limit. Just shoot for what you believe in, work hard, and you'll attain your dreams.
I think the strongest message would be yourself in all situations, and just remember to be confident in who you are and to take that into every situation you go into. And I know we all have our struggles and our internal thoughts and feelings that we have just about ourselves or about being in certain situations, but just remembering that when you've worked to get somewhere, that you've put in the time and that you've shown up and that you've reached this place. And so be proud of yourself and be confident in who you are and take that with you everywhere you go.
I love that. That's a great reminder. So I think for young women who want to be leaders, it truly is spending time with yourself, spending time with God, and truly understanding your purpose. And it's hard sometimes that other people see us as what they want us to be, but then we're not being true to ourselves. And when we're able to walk out our purpose, we have more creativity. I think we have more passion for what we're doing. So that's what I would say is spend time to know who you are and what your purpose is in life.
Never be afraid to show up as your authentic self. Never be afraid to walk into a room and have a different opinion from what the others may think you should have in a room, right? And so, we talk about this all the time, about having a seat at the table, and there's all kind of different slogans out there or statements out there. Well, if there's not a seat at the table, bring your own table, bring a folding chair to the table. I'm at the mindset these days, just of, different experiences. If there's not a seat at the table, just build your own table, right? And never be afraid to dream, to go after what you really want. Never let anybody tell you that you can't have it all, because if you truly want to have it all, you can have it all. Like I said earlier, always be your authentic self. Always know what's necessary. If there's a position that you're going through, there's a certain leadership position that you want, know what's necessary to get that position, right? And when you get to that position, know what's necessary to maintain that position.
Well, I'll go back to what I said a minute ago. Give yourself a little grace, because when everything is important and everything must be done right now, nothing gets done. You kind of get trapped in this cycle, and give yourself a little grace and recognize that prioritizing things and delegating things doesn't make you any less accomplished. In fact, it
it increases your productivity really, because you're able to get things done more efficiently and more effectively and more successfully. But give yourself a little bit of grace. Everything doesn't have to be done right now. Everything doesn't have to happen right now. You know, I remember in college, you know, sorority sisters would always say, I'm going to be married at 25, my first job at 27, I'm going to do this at 30, you know, and they had this timeline, which is wonderful to set goals and have a vision and a dream, but things don't always go as planned. And if they don't go as you planned, that's okay. You just there's a different plan. If you didn't get married at 25 and have your first child at 27 and get your third promotion at 30, it didn't mean that you were off track and destined to fail. What it meant is that you had a different path to find, and things happen in their own time. And just have faith and confidence in yourself that you can get the job done, and those things will happen.